Wow. Wow, Death
Here-
Stranding.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff we can talk about without talking about spoilers at all.
Yeah.
I really like that game. I think it's great.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Except for that 3 hours where it becomes complete garbage near the end.
Okay, are you talking about the last 3 hours?
No.
Are you talking about the first 3 hours of the last sequence?
Yes.
Okay.
That it's bad.
I didn't mind it.
Oh, really?
I didn't mind it.
Oh, you're.
I was okay with it. It was fine. I like. There's a point at which.
That whole talk on the beach is like the worst thing Kojima's ever done.
So that is the point at which Kojima's like, time to get meta and do the things that only video games can do. But also, like, I'm going to put this in here in the game in a way where I'm going to acknowledge that not everyone's going to like this. In fact, some people will hate it.
Yeah.
Knowing how absurd the journey has been up to that point, I was waiting for an absurd moment of gameplay.
Yeah.
And that was it. But without going into any spoilers, finally, upon seeing, where the characters arrive, what they do, what means what, I enjoyed it. I liked the setting. I liked the world. It was very cool. I had a complete breakdown at the acronyms, backronyms, and verbal connections. I had a complete and utter breakdown. There was, I forget which one of the last two major ones.
Oh, I know which one it is. It's the French one.
There was, no, that I called immediately.
Really?
That I called it hours before. It wasn't that one.
It's so bad.
It wasn't that one. There was another one where it was just like, okay, I had to basically explain, and you'll hear it, right? But I kind of was just like, listen, man, this trick that is something meaning something else or something being connected to something else, it works really well when used sparingly and it's right in front of your face and you go, oh my God, I couldn't believe it, right? There's a famous moment.
Would you kindly give me a good example?
There's a famous moment in Mega Man Command Mission in which Liam and I completely brains exploded at the same time when a name turned out to be something that we didn't think, and just completely lost it, right? When you do it nonstop, it loses weakness, it loses strength every time. And this game, the first hour, it dries up the entire concept
and it keeps going the whole game.
And then it never stops.
And then they give you like a double dose near the end.
Yes, and then they triple dose you.
Yeah.
And I actually got to a point where I said, what did I say? I said Bridget Bridges almost, and just went like, oh God, no, wait, what? And confused myself.
Yeah.
Because it was just going so hard in on that concept that I went, this is not good.
It's not good.
This is not good, especially when it's not subtext, it's not even text, it's hypertext. It's ultra text.
It's the kind of thing
overtext
that I imagine reads way better when your primary language isn't English.
And furthermore, and I thought about this, right? Not only is that what possibly sounds better, but your language is one where the kanji usually have more than one meaning.
They can literally have multiple meanings.
So the pun of someone's name or something actually being two things is normal and oftentimes used to have
So the Japanese love puns. This is a known writing thing. A lot of Japanese stuff, they fucking love puns because they have a language that punifies very easily.
So you'll see something where a main character's name is two symbols that, if you read the alternate versions of them, creates a totally different idea.
Oh my God.
And then you go, oh my God, I never would have thought about reading this the different way. Right? So, wow.
So, one, it doesn't work nearly as well in English.
It works infinitely worse.
Two, it's overused in English. Every single character has a flat name that isn't like a normal human.
Because it's obvious.
Yeah.
And then three, when you make one thing when it's a double entendre, it becomes like, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
When it's a triple,
you're like,
K, and then you go for the quad, and you're like, so, what the fuck is wrong with
Stop
you?
it.
I couldn't handle it.
Stop it.
I couldn't handle it. And the end of the game drops so many more on you that it's and I know we're dancing around it, but it really is just like every name has a pun associated. Every bit has a bite, and it's just like the joke of, did you know the S in Strand stands for Strand?
Yeah, it became real.
It became more real than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, you were dead on.
And it broke me.
You remember when I laughed super, super, super hard at that? I was like halfway through the game when you made that joke.
Yeah.
And it was way funnier to me than it was to you.
There is one, and I repeat, one that I love that is wonderful. A perfect one in the game. And did you ever get the final emails about, like,
I got a couple. I didn't go through all of them.
What happened to every character and what
people in my chat told me what it was.
Okay. There is one where you see the character's, like, Kojima name.
Yeah.
And then you see their real name, and it's fucking beautiful. I'm going to text you.
Yeah, I was about to say, could you text me?
I'm going to text you.
I have, like, massive, crazy problems with the beach at the end of the game. That, like, big problems. We'd probably have to go into spoiler talk to talk about it, because it's fucking bad. But it brought the plot of the game down to almost nothing, only to have it be completely saved at the end by one. Yes, that is the one. That is the one. You're completely right.
That one is so good.
Yeah.
There's one that's so good.
Where one what's his name? Tommy Earl Jenkins?
I'm not gonna spoil it because there's people that this is not a spoiler cast for them,
what's a Die Hard man's
sorry,
name?
everyone.
Tommy Earl Jenkins, the actor.
Yeah.
That's a good acting man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I talked about it when I beat it.
Yeah.
But I want to bring it up again.
Yeah. Die Hard man with the fucking Oscar chops.
Because I feel like the game was, like, kind of falling apart an hour or two before that, and then you get to that scene and you're like, okay, you're bringing me right back. Because it pretty much ends on that scene, and he kills it. It's like a debriefing.
Very, 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 very good chops on that.
Act good, man. Yes.
Yes. I called him. Well, whatever. Anyway, John Goodman.
Yeah.
But there's a very clear reason why you're like, and this is why Kojima hired this person.
Yep. So he can act like crazy.
Guess who else can act? Mads fucking Mikkelsen.
Yes, he can.
So yeah, all in all, really enjoyed the plot and where it went. Really enjoyed the gameplay and where that went. Fun,
very unique tasting game,
and fun thing to do with your brand new idea and world and studio.
Yeah.
Right? Fun thing to do. Fuck you at the idea that just because someone's into something really hard, they become homo ludens or homo fucking science or homo this or homo that. The idea that you are no longer a homo sapien, but you are a homo my hobby.
A homo hobbyist.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I hate that shit a lot. But I really do like, oh my God, fucking Ludwig.
Yeah, you did a good job, buddy.
Oh,
that last vocal theme that hits.
The music. Oh my God, the music.
It's very high quality.
The music builds, and then there's like fucking musical payoff that is the strongest.
It's
so
very
strong.
high quality.
So, in any case, we really, I really do
desperately need to talk to you about the argument that happens in that game. The final argument between two characters.
Yeah. So I'll say that there's one thing is that I feel like in a weird way Sam's the kind of character that, like, he almost reminds me of an RPG protagonist where for the most part he's just got his head down.
Yeah, I'm just deliver these packages.
But then I've got a big old monologue deep inside, just
in there,
just waiting to burst
way
out.
in there.
You're like, did you? All right. And shout outs to pizza.
Shout outs to pizza. That's a good payoff to an incredibly
Frustrating
quest chain.
Yep. Yep. So Higgs, a character that I really was like, man, I actually went off on a bit of a rant about a sympathetic villain versus a one-dimensional knife flicker.
Yeah, which Higgs totally is. Until he's not.
Until he's not.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, thank God for...
They save him right at the end. At the last possible second.
They squeeze it in. Like, you ever see that gif of, like, the guy who picks up his beer and then the bartender tosses a coaster underneath it and it goes, boop!
Yeah.
Right, like, at the last second, they fucking give you what you need to turn Higgs into a real boy.
A good character.
He gets Pinocchioed.
Yeah.
He gets Pinocchioed.
So what that means is, I mean, I remember seeing reviews going like, Higgs is a really one-dimensional shitty villain. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you did not finish certain things in that game, he remains kind of shitty.
Yes. You actually have to go...
You have to do your work. You have to do Kojima's work for him.
Now, here's the other problem, right? Of course, there's a lot of emails in this game.
There's a lot of emails in this game.
We had the same discussion back in MGS5 about audio tapes and show don't tell.
Yeah.
And I still maintain that show don't tell is my preferred.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, if it's one of those bits where you're like, hey, man, we only got Troy for 80 hours.
Yeah, so there's a real element to this game where MGS5 had the tapes, and this has the emails. And all I can think of is like, boy, I bet we would have been able to have tapes you could listen to on the road if every single actor wasn't a Hollywood celebrity.
Pretty crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's baffling that you have these emails that are long.
Yeah.
That you can't. That there's no audio version you can't listen to on the road.
Yeah, which is why I got more than one person going, "Yo, thank you for reading the emails on my 0.5 episodes because it's like I didn't have time, so this is what I wanted."
There's a lot.
There's a lot. We read through all of them on the LP, and those episodes are marked as 0.5, so you know exactly which ones if you wanted to listen to us going through them and discussing what we read. But they flesh out some characters in really good ways, and they do the things that the audio tapes did to MGS5 and to Ground Zeroes, where you get like tons of depth where originally there was zero.
There are like lore tabs, I guess you would call them, about like the names of all the concepts people are talking about. That if you don't read them, the game is like nonsense. Like if you don't know what Ka is
or Ha,
you're fucking dead in the water on understanding the plot.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a bunch of little bits here and there, and there definitely comes a time in the game when you're just like, there is no longer any kind of problem that I cannot overcome with my equipment and my, you know...
I got this. If I have to walk there at all.
If, you know... and there's also a couple of moments of like, are you going to outside the box? You know, where I was like, oh yeah, and like to me, I was like, I managed to figure out those moments, so I was like, hey,
we gotta switch over to spoilers.
Okay.
I got some shit to say about what you're talking about. Before we do, the final sprint of the game turns into the final sprint right at the end.
Yep.
Good job fucking with me and my prep for that moment. Appreciate it. And the game basically turns into Dragon's Dogma. Like that's the final sequence in Dragon's Dogma as well.
Okay.
It's like a final fucking go.
All right. So should we set a clock?
Yeah, let's set a clock. Well, how much do you want?
I don't think more than 5 minutes is needed.
5 minutes?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to set a stopwatch. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to set a timer for exactly...
I'll use a stopwatch.
5 minutes.
Starting
3, 2, 1, now.
minutes. Amelie is the fucking worst. She is wrong. That's the problem I have.
Wish you would give people more than a second.
No.
Just give it a
We did give them a second. We went 3, 2. Well, they had plenty of time.
Right.
My problem with that game is that Amelie is wrong. Her fucking theory on like what extinction is wrong.
Yep.
It's completely wrong.
Amelie sucks. Right?
She's the worst part
Which
of the
is
game.
terrible, right? The whole time, absolutely, right? So, and not only that, but like she is wrong, and she is selfish, and she is evil.
She's evil, like evil,
and manipulative, and just an
and then
right?
after,
but and actually and evil without convictions because she can be convinced to change her mind.
and also she's playing both sides because she doesn't know what I don't know.
But, and this is the biggest thing for me. Her blame is directly proportional. The exact percentage of blame she takes is directly proportional to how human she is. If she is 50% human and 50% extinction event,
that's where it all fell apart for me.
Because let me get there, right? At some point in time, she's a human being that is standing there that looks like a human being, but you are a concept. You are an entity. You are the idea of extinction and death in that way. So, like, to a degree, it can only be your fault as much as you are a human.
No, that's bullshit. You know why? Because the reason why she sped things up was not because she was a concept. It's because she was bored. And so, regardless of any of that metaphysical nonsense, 100% her fault.
But again,
and then
if her primary existence is to do this thing, then her doing that thing,
but all of those things are the result of her human choices.
Yes. Which is why, again, the way I'm looking at it is like, if she was 99% EE, then she was just like, hey man, this is what it's got to be. You know what it is. It is what it is.
A person,
You're she's the Rei Ayanami in that circumstance, right?
No, like every bad thing that happens in the game is her direct doing as a person, not as an extinction entity. She uses the EE stuff to justify the use of her abilities.
She could have been anything she could have done would have been better as a human than what she did do.
Yeah, because like she doesn't.
And then on top of that, the way that she goes about it is in this indirect fucking bullshit pussyfoot way.
Oh, it's terrible.
Where it's like, I'm gonna make the situation worse, not by doing it myself, but by picking up John's hand and making him fire it.
Or picking up Higgs and making him crazy.
And then going on to make it so that Die Hard Man's past, like he's to blame for everything, pushing the blame off, right?
So
insanely evil on the human side of things, and non-convicted in her beliefs.
Yeah.
But part of her is still not human.
Okay, before we go forward, I just want to say, how early did you realize Amelie was behind it all?
It was pretty much the moment where, it's not the visitation, but it's pretty much the moment when you walk in and you're like, why is she having a candid conversation with Higgs?
Okay, for me, it was like, I know, I see.
Yeah.
For me, it was like an hour into the game.
Yeah.
When she's like, you got to do the network, and somebody's like, the chiral density's going up. She's like, you got to do the network. It's so important.
Hey. The human extinction is primarily concerned with American Reconstructionism.
Oh yeah. A couple other things.
High priority.
Having to hug her.
Yeah.
As the pivotal moment in the game, I think makes the game's themes for a little while completely fail because it's wrong. It's literally wrong.
Did you take the shot?
Yeah, okay. Like 10 times. Okay. I got stuck.
Okay, I didn't do that. And here's my thought on it, right? She is flawed and swayed by her emotion towards you. You can manipulate her with your love.
But it's not being played that way.
It's not played that way.
It's not played like appease the elder god with your human emotions. It's played like, listen, man, love is really what matters. She'll do the right thing. It's like, no, she won't because she's evil. She did the emotional thing.
I wish I knew the breakdown of how much of her was EE versus human.
I bet no one knows.
But I blame her exactly that percentage.
Which is probably over 1%, so fuck her. She's the worst character ever. Almost ruins the game. But then Die Hard Man
John McClane
saves it. He saves it. He's so good. All right, that's 5 minutes.
And 5. Great. Spoiler cast. Yep. There you go. That was that. You know what? That's the most important discussion
It's
to
the
have
only
about
thing
that.
I want to talk about. It's the only thing I want to talk about. Death Stranding, everybody beats it. Everyone I've talked to, by the way, I'm going, so how about that one part? And they're like,
You see, but the other thing beyond what we talked about though, there's, like I said, there's your meta confusing gameplay moments, and then there's your like, oh, people are going to be talking about this for a while, because it's like, yeah, Koji went outer space
yeah,
with everything about that ending. Well, not literally, but but then in the end, like, this is a world that I really like because it has so much meat to chew on in terms of ideas. It goes into places that it's like, okay, so let's revisit this concept of the Death Stranding and asexuality as a result of isolation, oh, Jesus Christ, really? That's a thing, huh? Okay. Well, anyway, whatever to that. But the ideas that he puts out there are like, there's some shit to chew on and to talk about and discuss. But I am never gonna play this again.
nope.
This is the
When I was playing through it, I'm like, this is a great game. I will never touch it again.
It is the fattest, thickest, deepest single serving game I've ever played.
Yep. I put a lot of time into that game, and I think you put even more, actually.
I completed the full road.
You got more done.
And I created the entire zipline network.
I think I did 80, 100 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
I got my value.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, and it was also work, so win all around. No desire to ever play, because
Hit the fucking credits, bro, and I went over and I'm like, hold on a second. What happened? And then I realized Heartman was on 4.5.
yeah.
And he became 4.5 man and
no.
fucking ruined my perfect 5 stars across the board.
That's
but I went back and did it, and I 5-starred everybody.
I'm glad.
Yeah. It is the craziest. It is like single serving. You can't do it. Someone was like,
What,
hey,
you're gonna go back and fucking go back to just having the rope?
someone sent a message like, oh, are you looking forward to the Steam release?
No!
And I'm just like, are you out of your mind? Why the fuck would I ever go back to this?
It's like, go back to like Devil May Cry 1 when it's like, okay, but you have to wait 30 hours till you get Stinger. Like, no way. The whole point of that game is to build up infrastructure to circumvent toil. I've circumvented the toil, all of it. Why would I go back to toil? It's the only game I can think of where it actually makes things difficult and kind of shitty to do. And then when you learn how to mitigate them, you're like, yeah.
Remember when you had really good options in Persona 3,
I do.
but then game was like, but Yukiko though.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, wait, Yukari.
Yeah.
Yukari. But
Yeah,
Yukari though.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I don't want Yukari.
She's got a choker and she hates her dad.
And you're like, but I don't want Yukari though.
It's like,
Right?
come on,
Remember
dog.
that?
She got dad problems.
Vibes. Like, it has never been like in an empty fucking room, in an isolated system, in a void, you already don't really want what they're giving you.
I'd rather grind up on this corner, please.
But then also, Fragile's great. You know?
Yeah, she's pretty fragile.
Yeah.
But not that fragile. They use that like 5-10 times too many.
And not in the moment when I thought it was going to happen.
It's
But then it
crazy.
comes 20 minutes later, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't mean anything anymore, dude.
It's nuts.
Now, here's the last bit to say. Mads was worried about the underusage, was worried about what's going to what. Not worried at all.
He got some good hits in.
Mads is perfection.
Yeah.
Absolute perfection. And goddamn, his face is so fucking just unique.
Yeah.
He's big actor face. You know, the
For
same
acting.
Yes, the same things you felt when you saw Le Chiffre wipe the blood from his eye is what you feel here. You're like, fucking perfect, this character. You know, so I love everything about him. And yeah, Norman. Hey, Norman. Hey, good job. Good job, buddy. You did it. And PT is saved. He got so much more out of this than he would have with PT.
Yeah.
This is so much better for him.
Maybe. He'd probably have the same amount of dialogue total.
Did you watch AMC's Ride with Norman Reedus?
I did.
Exactly.
It's...
I hear it's all right.
It's okay.
Yeah, no. But there you go.
It's okay.
So guess what?
So
it worked.
So wait, hold on. Let's break
worked.
it down. I watched AMC's Ride with Norman Reedus, and I'm now primarily drinking Monster Energy.
How about that?
How about that?
It worked. Can't blame.
Only that sugar-free Monster though. The sugar ones are terrible.
Yeah. I can't, like, by the end of the game, you're like, I wonder if that ride is any good.
Like, it's been a long-standing thing with us where, like, if like a character falls through the floor in a game, whereas many people go, "Oh no," we're like cheering and hooping and hollering, right? I was like riding that AMC Ride with Norman Reedus bike as much as I could, and being like, "Say the line, Norman, say it." And whenever he did say it, when he was like, "Man, I feel like a badass, like I'm on the ride," I was like, "Yeah!"
I literally
said it.
I fucking screen capped them so that I could show Reggie off, like, back when we started the recording up again. I'm like, I got him to say it. He said it. There it is. So yeah, it reaches pure parody status.
Say the thing, Norman.
Yep. Good job, Koji Pro.
Genius Kojumbo indeed.
Genius Kojumbo. Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I'm gonna guess 4chan. It sounds like that kind of thing.
Sounds almost like it.
That game is so like, we now get to know exactly what Kojima looks like with no filter.
Yes.
He won't stop with the pun language shit.
He zooms in infinitely on his subject matter, and he finds one detail, which then explains why all of reality exists.
He's scientifically literate, but not that scientifically literate.
And he's willing to, make leaps where it's like, he's willing to hand wave, like, broad things, so that small things work better.
There's a bit in the ending where people are talking to you about, like, the ghosts and shit, and they start talking scientific stuff, and, like, I'm almost coming out of my chair of, like, that's not how that works.
Right.
That's super wrong. And bonus, this is my favorite part. Just a few weeks ago, it was discovered that there was, in fact, another mass extinction between the 4th and 5th extinctions.
Ruh-roh.
Which makes the entire plot of the game make completely no sense. But don't worry about it.
Can I say this? You know the first screenshot of the game we saw where he's standing on the beach?
Yeah.
And then you see the floating figures in the distance?
Yeah.
I fucking love that now.
Yeah, it's good.
That thing is so cool now.
It's very good.
But yeah, the most like, talking about the way he handles these types of details, the purest moment to me of that exemplifies that is when it's like, hey guys, did you know that, like, this one weird bug worm, when it dies it glows blue? That's why blue is the color of death. So the whole game's blue.
Really? Is it? Is that really?
You know, and it's like, okay, got it, right? Hey, did you know that the Egyptians figured this one thing out and this is what they called it? Therefore, that's how it really is?
That's how it really is. Turns out Egyptians dead on.
We could have picked a random other culture, but we picked this one and it worked out.
You know why we picked it? Because I want to make some puns, and because I think that Higgs's Egyptian-themed costume looks cool.
And it does.
It does. It looks really cool.
Death Stranding. Well, anyway, so that's where
I
that's at.
eagerly await the next Kojima Productions game, which I assume will be very different from Death Stranding.
Which I assume will be a movie.
Well, that's just a bummer to me.
Well, that's what he said he wants to do.
After watching and playing Death Stranding, I am terrified of the kind of movie this man would make.
Oh, yeah.
just legit.
Oh yeah, horrified.
Just terrible.
Yep. Super scared.
Just all this shit,
Super scared.
all this story stuff we're complaining about is pretty bad in a video game. It would be unwatchable in movie format.
You know how, like, it's sad to say, and I'm the kind of person that doesn't need this type of thing. I always am like, do the original bit. But the thing that would probably be the least offensive would be if he just expanded on a detail from an already existing world.
Sure.
Right? If he did the Yorha stage play shit.
Oh, I thought you meant like Hideo Kojima's Transformers.
No. No, God, no. No, God, no. Please, no. No, no. No. I meant as in, like, let's go into this world and pick a moment or a character and elaborate on them. Like,
Mama story.
Heartman.
Yeah.
As an hour and a half.
Literally just, hey, here's the day that Heartman lost his heart.
Sure. Right? Then you would go, all right, we could make that work because we already know the rest of this world and believe in it. But to start from scratch and do things the way he does, I'm scared.
I don't think he has enough time in a movie to set up anything he'd want to do.
He'd hand you a pamphlet before you watched it.
All right, here's the deal.
Hey, Kojima, you're okay. You're okay. He said it.
Coulda.
Guillermo did the thing.
Really?
Lent his body for a good cause.
Kojima needs somebody who is talented to stand right next to him and go, that's fucking stupid.
Okay, but it's the David Cage effect in opposite.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's like you are... Kojima is losing the forest for the trees, right? David Cage
is losing the trees for the forest.
Only sees a forest.
Yeah.
And it's really just a low resolution green blur.
What's the name of that forest? Emotion.
Like, there is not a tree to be found because all he sees is...
Cage has as the most
the forest.
Primitive view of art. He went to art school at some point, I'm sure, and somebody said, art is anything that makes you feel something. And he views, like, the highest form of art is something that gives you a big emotion.
Yes.
And the only way to give people big emotions is to show them big emotions. And it's like, it can mean something. Or just be generally enjoyable, right? These are also options.
Yeah, fine art and fine art teachers will argue that, like, when you look at ready-made art, which is the McDonald's bag on the seat,
yeah,
that has a name tag attached to it, whatever you feel upon seeing that makes it valid. So if that disgust you might feel, that frustration you might feel when you hit the 2H hallway of Dawson College, and you see someone's submitted homework, which is literally a McDonald's trio with a name tag attached to it.
I actually got into like an almost art theory. So remember a few weeks ago when Pat's Not Creative, I got into almost an art, like, intellectual discussion about, like, what is art really? Well, everyone's artistic in their own way. And it, like, you run into people who are just like, everything is art. Everything you do in this world is art. And I'm like, well, now we're just destroying words. Like, now like, words are losing their fucking meaning. Like, things have to not be art for things that are art to be art. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
the idea, of course, is just that, like, if someone decides to take anything in any place and frame it,
that's deep, man. Banana on the wall.
Right. My art history teacher argued that anything framed is art. Right.
Frame a picture of your asshole and submit it.
100%. Interior semiotics. My fine arts teacher argued that it was whatever made you feel something.
Punching the dick makes you feel something.
And both of them came from a point of view where it was ultimately, as long as somebody calls it art.
Oh my God.
Then it ought
the actual worst.
So, right, and it's like, okay, well, if that's the world you want to live in,
this is the actual.
I mean, you can live in that world, but not everyone has to give a fuck about every piece of art.
I mean, I just got off watching Rent, in which the only art worth arting is that Born of Suffering, and it's like, go to hell.
So, anyway.
Man, thank God when I watched Rent, I wasn't a poor artist, because I've never been an artist.
Or 19.
Or I was never 19. But like if I was like somebody like, you know, on the Patreon grind trying to make ends meet and being poor, like that movie would send me into a fucking conniption because they're like, oh man, being poor, it's the true way. And there are people out there, it's like, I just want to draw titties and make some money, dude.
Commissions are open.
Yeah, commissions are open.
Please, rent. Please stop.
I spawned into this world at the ripe old age of 90. That's how it feels anyway.
So anyway, Death Stranding going to be wrapping up on WoolieVersus as well. You can check that out. Should be a couple episodes away.
That's a great game for some people.
Yes. I played did about 2 hours of epilogue as well to just get cleanup.
Yeah.
So there was a couple little other things to do, some storylines to some of those preppers where you're just like, God damn it, it's not the way I wanted that to go.
You know when you say like this is an unqualified recommendation, I would recommend this to anyone.
This is a highly
this
qualified.
This is the most qualified game I would ever recommend to anyone.
If you are a fan of Kojima's work and you have played at least 3 Metal Gear games and loved them,
and you are patient, and you can appreciate a calm moment.
abstract game concepts,
like it's
go for it.
It's fucking
go for it. Trucking became fun.
I would never begrudge anyone. Now that we're all the way out, right? I would never begrudge anyone that I was talking to them. And like, you know, you talk to somebody like, man, DMC3 is garbage.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get the hell out of my face.
Yep.
If somebody was like, man, fucking Death Stranding was so trash, I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but okay, but if it came out and it came and went and it was like, yeah, that was okay. How sad would that have been? If it was just a, like, yeah, decent action game. The shooty parts were shooty. And then it wrapped up and then we called it a day. Would not that be the most disappointing and sad thing for the highest expectations of Andrew House?
Yes.
So, Koji Pro.
I would love to get sales numbers on that game. I would love to get sales numbers on that game.
I want to get a Ludens toy.
I bet it sold okay.
I wonder.
All right, you know, like not like 10 million or whatever, but like a million or two. You know, just like it did okay, but considering the like the build up and the hype cycle and the fucking event that it was, I bet a lot of people saw what it was and went,
I mean, it's you know, it's in the PlayStation AAA pantheon, you know, but how high up, of course, remains to be seen. Because yes, if you're going to spend that much money on a game, many people want it to be a bit more accessible and or Nathan Drakey.
Yeah.
So, you know,